It's time for another Dice Tower review with Z. Garcia.
Hey everybody, today I am taking a look at Grog Island, a pirate-themed game all about grabbing the best spots on different islands, using your money wisely, and bidding just right. Let me show you how the game works, then we'll come back and I'll tell you what I think of it. So here's what the game looks like, pretty much set up and ready to begin. The objective of the game is to have the most victory points over here, and those are mostly going to come from these hidden objectives. These are secret scoring opportunities that are going to translate into victory points. At the beginning of the game, every player will be given 6 of those, and they will keep 4. You could possibly earn some more throughout the game as well. Every player will also be given a set of these little characters, which you'll be using to claim buildings onto the board. You will get a handy-dandy little card that'll tell you the round overview on there. And you are also going to get 1 treasure card, 1 parrot card, and then 1 good of your choice, and these are all the goods over here. And then you are good to go. Someone's given the pirate flag, they will be the start player. The general idea of the game, the general flow, is based on an auction, a very intricate auction, which is going to happen mostly down here. So, the star player is going to roll these dice, these 5 dice, and they're going to place them on the matching spaces, the matching goods there. And then they will make an opening bid. They can take any one of these dice, multiple of them if they want to, whatever combination they want, and they will place them in these spaces up here. So they could do this, and the bid would be 5. If they did this, the bid would be, of course, 9. So the star player could say 5. Then it'll be the next player's turn, and they can either pass or they can increase the bid. So they could say 7. They can even, in fact, switch out the dice that are out here as long as the ultimate bid is higher. So they could do this, 7. And then it is the next player's turn. And so on until a final player has not passed, everyone else did, and they would pay the bid in gold, which comes from here or from these cards, which also have gold on them, and they would get some benefits. However, in this game, passing also gives you benefits. So let's say it is now the third player's turn, and they simply choose to pass. When you choose to pass, a few things are going to happen. First of all, you are going to earn 1 good of every uncovered space out here. So they would get some of that grog, and they would get some of the lemons. And so they would put that in their little supply. And then after that, you are going to visit one of the ships across the bottom. Not this one because it's out to sea, but one of the other ones. And so let's say, for example, that they choose to go to this one here. They would mark that they've gone to it so no one else can go to it. And then they can do the actions either printed on the board right there or on the ship top itself. And the reason that's set up like that is because these will move around throughout the game. So in this case, the player could discard 1 grog there to grab a treasure card. You could do that even twice. You could discard 2 of these and grab 2 treasure cards. Or you can discard 4 of the tokens here and claim a building out here. So those are your options. And depending on where you go, of course, depends on what kind of good will be necessary to take that action. So let's say they do that, they get rid of this 1, they get another treasure card for themselves, and that's it. The other player, again, now they could all keep bidding or passing, whatever they want to. Once the final player, let's say this is the final bid here, like that, and everybody else has passed, and I do want to mention now before I forget that the dice have to be specifically, they have to be the same or lower as you go farther to the right here. Then the final player is going to pay whatever the final cost is. So here it would be 11, but let's say that wasn't quite it. Let's say they won with this, 7, and let's say it was the red player who won here. They would pay their 7 coins, dropping here on the coin track, and then they get what's printed above each of the dice in the track here. So in this case, they get to claim a building in orange because the die's orange. And so they could take this little guy here and put him, boom, right there. And then they get to claim a building in yellow. It cannot be the same kind of building. So if there was a, on the same level, and they have little symbols to denote if it is the same building. So they could claim a building in yellow. Now, which ones you claim is all tied to your secret objectives, okay? That's mostly it. But also when you claim a building, you are going to earn some gold depending on which ones you've claimed of that same kind. So, those are your reasonings for picking one building over another building. It's the why comes from the secret goals. That's basically it. You also have here at the top of these lines, there's a cloud that is revealed at the beginning of the game, and these change some of the rules for that row. So, for example, this line here will give you some parrot cards. This one here will give you some extra victory points, things like that. There's even one that has a negative effect, which means when you claim in there, you don't make money like you would otherwise put out a person and make some money for that row, for that line of buildings, okay? So that's basically it. You are going to then reset the round. These get pushed over. You move this one over here. Everybody takes back their tokens. Star player will move around. They will re-roll these dice. They are going to, again, place the dice on the matching spaces. And, again, bid on the opportunity to either claim the buildings down here and get some tokens for passing, or winning and getting these symbols up here and placing more, claiming more buildings up here. These out here, by the way, as I said, claim a building, claim a different building, 1 victory point. This little lock means you get locked down a building so no one ever claims it, and then another victory point out here. The game is going to continue until one player has placed out their final little meeple. Then that's the end of the game at the end of that round, and you figure out who the winner is. You'll reveal your secret cards, score them up. You'll also get, for every 1 treasure card you never used, or every 5 coins you have left over here on the track, you also get 1 victory point. The treasure cards here, by the way, come in a couple of different denominations, and they simply allow you flexibility with the bidding. And so exactly what's reflected on the track is not necessarily everything you have available to you. It gives you a little leeway for your bidding. And the parrot cards have some special powers on them that are going to let you manipulate the game a little bit, the game state a little bit, so they can come in handy as the game progresses. The gold cards also come in a few different varieties, but most of them kind of look like that. This one, in this case, let me give you a little bit of a close-up look here at what I'm talking about. This one has a little flag, which you can find on some of the buildings, and then below that it tells you 3 victory points. And so what that means, of course, is that for every one of those buildings you have claimed, and the buildings are, let's see if you can see them here, right there, they have that flag there. So for every one of those, 3 victory points. Every one of these, 2 victory points. Things like that. Many of them look this way. And then there's also for controlling islands, if you have the most places claimed on an island, or if you're tied, for every parrot card you still have at the end of the game. For every one of those tokens you still have at the end of the game that you did not use. So that's it for the scoring opportunities. It's very straightforward, but they do inform what you should be doing throughout the game. And so that's basically it. You play round over round until someone runs out of these, score up your cards, and see who the winner is. A couple of other things which I haven't mentioned is you can always trade 3 tokens for any 1 other token, so 3 to 1 on anything. And there is 1 cloud up here, which lets you get and switch around some scoring opportunities as well, as if you happen to be unhappy with the ones you have. But that's a general overview of how everything works. Let's go back up top and I'll give you some final thoughts. I gotta say, when I first saw this box, when I first heard about the game, I was interested, but I wasn't, fascinated. I wanted to try it out. I figured it would be a cool game, one I could play a few times and then be done with it, but I was not expecting to be captivated. And I was captivated. This is an excellent game. It's a Euro-style game that gives you both tactical choices, interesting things to do, wrapped around really clever, unique, to me anyway, mechanisms, and it doesn't bog down doing any of those things, you know. It's still very much a Euro game, yes. The theme here is very thin. That big part of the board where you're putting people out on buildings feels pretty abstract, you know. But the gameplay is extremely engaging. Bidding, when you pass, what you get for doing this or that or the other thing, the variability of where those clouds ended up, where the ships are sitting, your secret goals, all of those things add to make the game a quick play, but an engaging one that really, for me, just grabbed me. You know, I remember the first day I played this, actually, I immediately wanted to play again, and so I did. That same day, taught a whole new group of people, and even that was enjoyable, because teaching it allowed me to relive those moments of cleverness. It allowed me to go, oh, and when you pass, you get this. What? You get stuff for just for passing? Yes, you do. And I enjoyed that a lot. So this is a very solid game. It gives me a little bit of a hint of Pillars of the Earth with those arrows. You know, give this up to get this other thing. You can do it up to 4 times or whatever. And so I get a little bit of that vibe from it. They're not similar, really. But some of the sensibilities there are the same, which is not surprising. They are from the same designer, who is really one of my favorite Euro-style designers. So, a big thumbs up from me for this one. Grog Island, if you enjoy mid-weight Euro-style games that have clever mechanisms, games that do something that is going to engage you, that is going to give you lots of tactical choices, lots of things to do without getting bogged down in what those things are, then I think this is a great one. Definitely would recommend it. Check it out. Grog Island deserves more love, I think. And if it sounds like your style of game, I suggest you give it some love. Check it out.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.